Hello everyone and welcome to the Potteries fly tying beginners course, week 4. The fly we're tying this week is the black Pennell. Just to ensure your hook's properly secured in your vise. The hook is a Partridge of Redditch Sprout Wet G3AY size 10. This fly can be tied down to a size 14 or even a 16. The thread I'm putting on at the moment is uni thread 8/0 in black. Now just take a few turns on and then snip off your waist end. And what we're going to do this time is we're going to put the rib on quite early in the fly again. The reason I'm doing this is I want to make as few passes up and down the body with the thread as possible, because I like, when I tie this fly, I like it to be a very fine fly, fine body. Okay, so put your rib on the side. This is a 0.1mm fine silver wire. Don't forget to keep on twisting your thread to ensure that it lays as flat as possible and covers the maximum amount of the hook per turn, and it doesn't build up tension in the thread either. Okay, what we're going to do is come down to a point that's more or less opposite where the barb would be if this was a barbed hook, so roughly there. Okay, and then break off the waist end. Okay, you now need a golden pheasant tippet, and the way to take the feathers off, the fibres off this one, is to hold them at the end like so, and then actually snip them off rather than squaring the ends up and pulling them off. You actually want to snip them off so that they sit like that, so that the bars sit nice and straight. Okay, once you've got them to look something like that, you want the bar to actually sit at the tail of the fly. They're just overhanging the tie-in point, so it's important that you select the right length feather to do that. If you then put that on top, okay, pinch and loop. 1, 2 pinch and loops to hold it in position. Okay, just go back and just tidy up right back to your tie-in point of your wire, and then come forward with your thread. Actually not gone quite far enough back there. Not gone right the way back to my tie-in point. There we go. Then come forward with your thread, tying down all of those loose ends. If you've got enough length, you can actually leave the loose ends and tie them all the way up the fly, and that then again it increases the levelness of the body as you come up. Obviously I was up near the tip of the feather, so the fibres are slightly shorter, so what I'll do is I'll come up to where I'm going to tie in the hackle. I'll come back once to where the feather tips ended, and then I'll come back up again, and that just builds up that area so it's all more or less level all the way up. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to put the rib on. So I've left the thread hanging about 2mm from the eye. So we're going to now put the wind the rib up through the fly. There's no rush doing this. This is the one of the main bits that people see. So this is where people, judge how good or bad the fly is. I'm not sure if the trout feel the same, but you certainly want to try and make your rib as evenly spaced and as uniform as possible. Okay. I also put more turns of rib on than a lot of people. A lot of people tend to try and stick to 3 or 4, but I find with how fine this wire is, particularly with a size 10 hook, it actually works better for me to just put a few extra turns on. Okay, so I've secured that down with 3 turns, put a couple of turns in front, and now I'll just break off that rib. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to bring the thread back to where I ended the rib, so a couple of millimeters from the eye still, and I'm going to tie in my black hen hackle. Now the curve on this is obviously moving away from me towards the tail of the fly, so curving towards the tail. Okay, I'm going to hold that on the side, and I'm going to secure that with 4 or 5 wraps. Snip off the waist, just tidy up that waste end, and then bring your thread back to about 1mm. So you've got 1mm for the hackle and about 1mm to build the head with. Okay, put the hackle pliers onto the hackle, right on the tip. You want to rotate these around. As you're rotating them around, kind of sweep the hackle fibres back. Okay, sweep those backwards. Keep working the hackle fibres as you're putting them on. And you're bringing your hackle towards the front of the fly. Okay, once you've done 3 or 4 short turns, you can make the hackle as heavy or as light as you like. I like 3 turns, I think that's about right. Just wrap that off. Okay, and then lift your thread out of the way so that you can snip your waste end off without cutting your thread. Okay, and then what we're going to do is stroke all of these back and build a small tidy head, and then just go maybe just maybe 1 turn of thread over the actual hackles just to keep them back in a nice position there. Okay, now I'm going to whip finish that. Okay. Slice this off, don't cut it off. And then you now need to just add a little bit of head varnish or head cement to that, and that's your finished black Pennell.